Welcome to this special edition of InsurTech Talk, brought to you by Avast. Today, Kitty Ambers will share some tools and tips for conducting productive prospect and client visits virtually. And now your host, Kitty Ambers.
We all know that insurance is a relationship business. As the world takes precautions to mitigate the spread of the coronavirus, we are all challenged with finding ways to connect with others when a physical visit is out of the question. I've done business virtually and led remote teams for years. And today, I'd like to share with you some of the tools and tips that I've come across over the time I've worked virtually in hopes that I can help you more confidently hold virtual visits with your prospects and clients. Being face-to-face with an insurance consumer to answer questions and provide coverage details is paramount to our role as professional insurance agents. It's part of building trust. And with the mandate to practice social distancing, we have to get creative as we continue to serve our communities. Please understand that I'm sharing tips based on my experience and tools that I'm familiar with. So if you have questions or comments, please reach out to me at kitty@avast.com and I'll do my best to further assist you. Let's talk about some tools for conducting virtual meetings. My first tip is really to begin your quest to hold a virtual meeting by understanding the goal of that visit or meeting. Maybe it's a conversation and you simply want to hold a more personal face-to-face conversation. My guess is you already do this frequently using something like FaceTime or some other video feature that is on your mobile phone. You may already be conducting virtual face-to-face visits with your family or even remote employees using something like Skype. These same tools can become powerful business boosters when you can't physically meet face-to-face with a prospect or client. In fact, FaceTime even has a version available for a desktop computer, and it acts much like the app on your phone. Now, something you may not have noticed about these tools when you've used them for personal business is that they also provide you with the ability to share your screen so that you can promote more collaboration. So if this feature is available, you'll typically see an icon that looks like two squares on top of each other, or it may simply be a button that says Share. I encourage you to take a few minutes to explore the tools you already have access to and potentially are already using and determine their virtual meeting capabilities. Another tip is that if you don't have a webcam either already included on your laptop or a tablet, or maybe a standalone version on your desktop computer, get one. Webcams are available at most retail and online stores, are relatively inexpensive, and they're easy to connect and install. If you find that you don't currently have a solution that provides video and screen sharing, I'd suggest trying Zoom. Zoom offers a free version that has all of the basic features needed to hold an effective virtual client visit. Go to zoom.us to learn more and to download their program. GoToMeeting also has a 14-day free trial of their service available. Just like with your office or any meeting room you'll go into, you'll want to take a few minutes to set up your virtual meeting space. When conducting virtual meetings where you will be using your webcam, you'll want to be camera ready so you can portray the same professional image that you would if making an in-person visit to a prospect or client. I encourage you to use video whenever possible. Meeting participants are more engaged when they can see you and see what's happening. It keeps people on their toes, so to speak. It's also important to take time to prepare and practice. Just like you would prepare for a face-to-face visit, you'll want to be prepared and organized for a virtual visit. Have your basic agenda outlined. Have any information gathering forms handy to share on screen. Know the desired outcome for the visit. because of the added technical element of conducting the video conference itself, you will want to practice until you're comfortable with the tools. Be aware that part of your preparation will need to involve sending the virtual meeting link to invite your participants to log in. So in the event they are not savvy to using video conferencing, provide them with guidance and tips for using the service you select. Most of the video conference providers out there have suggested user documentation available, so you can use this to provide some simple guidelines for the people you'll be inviting to join you for your virtual visit. It's important to minimize distractions. Test your audio in advance to be sure it's clear. A headset is a good solution to eliminating background noise. Also be aware that with video conferencing, internet bandwidth can be impacted when you're trying to use video, voice, and screen sharing over the same connection. So if you happen to notice choppiness in the audio once you launch your webcam and begin screen sharing, try dialing into the call instead of using the computer audio for the voice portion of the call. Work at keeping your presentation interesting. Try different tactics to maximize engagement for your guests. This could include viewing shared documents and walking through them together. If it's a proposal presentation, you might include multiple presenters who represent different departments of your agency. Encourage two-way conversation by asking fact-finding, open-ended questions. And understand that you may not always be able to see your guest, so your listening skills do become more critical when there's no visual. So be sure to pay attention to what others are saying so you don't miss things. What I thought I'd do is actually share how Avast eForms Wizard can be used collaboratively with screen sharing and a webcam, just like it has been used by many producers who are out visiting with prospects and clients on site at their places of business, at least prior to all the social distancing we're doing these days. So I'll be using the screen share feature of Zoom along with the video option so that I can include a thumbnail of myself via webcam. Ideally, the person you're visiting with will join the call via webcam as well, so you can see them and can gauge their reaction and build that relationship via eye contact. So one of the things that's sort of fun with Zoom is that you have the opportunity to use some virtual backgrounds. So no, I didn't really go over to the beach, although that would be kind of fun. I used a virtual background and just largely so that I could begin to share my screen and show you all how that works as we move forward. So when you choose share screen, it gives you some options of what screen or program that you want to share. And so I personally am selecting eForms Wizard to share. Now notice that because we're here in Zoom on the call and I've got the video enabled, my video stays in place. If I had another guest on my call, their video would be up here as well. So we could actually talk with one another and be reviewing things on the screen share at the same time. I find that this is really helpful a lot of times, especially when there's concerns about spelling or making sure you get the right information. So this may look familiar. We have started a client. The client happens to be Becky's Restaurant, and we're working on an application for quote for her. But, you know, I have the opportunity to sit here and work through while she is speaking with me the entire time. And as I fill in information and, you know, maybe I've asked Becky, hey, tell me a little bit about your restaurant. And, you know, how many times do we type the description of operations on forms? But here, you know, she's explained to me that they're a high-end restaurant establishment that does some catering for weddings. They have an online retail store for their gourmet crab cakes. They have a farming operation that supports their restaurant operation, and they advertise as farm to table. that's got some interesting ramifications from an insurance standpoint. So it may be that I want to jump over and say, hey, I think I'm gonna take a look at maybe a cyber liability application, because that you mentioned selling things online, so maybe I'd like to grab a cyber form. And here it looks like in eForms Wizard, Chubb and Hartford and Travelers are some preferred ones based on the gold star. So I'm going to grab one of those and pull that into this particular risk. All the while, I'm having a nice conversation from the beach with Becky about her risk. So as you can see, we've popped in the cyber form. It has pre-filled with some of the information that I already knew, but now I can continue my conversation, gathering more information about the various potential cyber risk that Becky has because of her online sales. All the while, we're having a nice conversation. She's seeing exactly what I'm looking at. And I just think it's so much more personal than sending poor Becky this stack of forms for her to maybe fill out and struggle her way through. So I hope that this little example of screen sharing and collaborating online has been helpful. Again, very simple that we're using Zoom and the Zoom tools. And as soon as you're ready to stop sharing, there is a stop share button that will put you right back to your video screen. And that is basically that. So good luck. I hope this short presentation has provided you with a few helpful ideas for keeping your business relationships on track during these challenging times. I encourage you to start using Avast eForms Wizard combined with a virtual visit to begin capturing data at the point of sale in a more efficient digital fashion. Using eForms Wizard, you can then electronically share client folders across your team so submissions can get to market faster. Learn more at avast.com/go. And recently, my friend Steve Anderson shared an updated guide to a variety of work-from-home resources on his blog, so you might wish to check that out on Steve's blog at steveanderson.com. Avast is here to help you. We're keeping insurance at the heart of InsurTech. I appreciate you listening, and I hope you'll reach out if there's any way that I can assist you further. Thank you.